Look, imagine inviting your absolute perfect match into your home, only to discover a terrifying, deadly secret. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a digital connection that literally bled into real-world horror. You're going to want to pay close attention to this one, because what starts as a totally simple, everyday swipe on a screen, well, it turns into an absolute nightmare.
So what if the perfect match you just invited inside actually died in your very own bathroom years ago? Seriously, I want you to genuinely ask yourself that as we uncover this story, because this isn't just some hypothetical thought experiment, guys. The events we're about to dive into point to a scenario where the ultimate worst-case nightmare became a terrifying reality.
All right, let's set the scene. It's 2:30 in the morning in Delhi, and it is freezing cold outside. We've got a 19-year-old named Akash, and he's locked himself in a bathroom. Now, here's the kicker. It actually happens to be his birthday, and his roommate Rohan has thrown a huge party right outside that door. But Akash, he's totally isolated, weeping after just finding out his girlfriend cheated on him. And this emotional rock bottom, this is exactly the bait for everything that follows.
You know how it is. That vulnerability rapidly turns into a fatal mistake. Check this out. Literally 1 minute after seeing his ex's new relationship status, pure anger just takes over. 5 minutes later, he's downloading a dating app, desperately seeking some immediate validation. And just 10 minutes after that, his screen lights up. It's a match with a girl named Priya. His desperate emotional state completely bypassed any sort of logical filter he might have had.
So, the party finally winds down, and Akash starts chatting with Priya from his bed. Seeking some comfort, he types out that he really wishes he could give her a hug. Her reply, "Close your eyes." Then, suddenly, Akash feels two physical, icy-cold hands grip him tightly right through the mattress. He startles, his eyes snap open, and the very second he does, his room's window violently shatters into a million pieces. And before he can even process the broken glass scattered everywhere, his phone buzzes. It's a text from Priya. "Did you get hurt?"
I mean, come on, right? Why on earth would anyone ignore these blaring, completely paranormal red flags? Well, the answer is simple and honestly pretty tragic. Priya's profile picture was breathtakingly beautiful. That illusion of a perfect, comforting match totally blinded Akash to the creeping horror actively invading his physical space. The dopamine hit of getting her attention just completely overrode his basic survival instincts.
Fast forward a few days, exactly at 8 p.m., the doorbell rings. Now, the context here is absolutely critical. Akash's roommate, Rohan, is out for the night. Akash is completely 100% isolated in the flat. The trap is set, the bait is taken, and the predator is literally at the front door. He runs to open it, and there she is, Priya, standing right in front of him in a beautiful dress.
But here's where things get really weird. When Akash pulls her in for a welcoming hug, something is immediately wrong. Her body is freezing. I'm talking like a solid block of ice. Akash, who is just so desperate for this to work out, rationalizes it away, assuming the brutal Delhi winter just chilled her to the bone. He even offers her his hoodie. But you guys, this physical anomaly, that is your first major warning that something is profoundly wrong.
So Akash turns to his wardrobe to close the door, and reality just completely fractures. When he looks directly at the bed, he sees the beautiful Priya, but in the reflection of the large wardrobe mirror, sitting on his bed is a rotting, terrifying corpse with decaying flesh. Panicking, Akash whips his head back around, but Priya isn't on the bed anymore. No, she is suddenly standing all the way across the room, smiling, holding out a birthday cake.
And then, the psychological terror rapidly becomes intensely physical. Just minutes after eating that cake, this agonizing pain rips right through Akash's stomach and throat. He rushes to the sink, choking, and begins coughing up a grotesque swarm of black and yellow bugs. It's horrifying. He can't breathe. He can't scream. And then, the bugs just vanish the exact second he looks up into the bathroom mirror and realizes Priya is standing directly behind him.
Sweating and absolutely terrified, Akash manages to ask how she even got inside. Her response is chilling in its simplicity. She just says, "The bathroom door was open." She claims she was just worried he was taking too long. Thinking he just has some severe case of food poisoning, Akash cuts the date short and Priya leaves. But hours later, he wakes up in the pitch dark to someone stroking his hair. It's Priya. She claims she forgot her phone and, just let herself back in.
Crazy, right? Well, Priya forces him to take some medicine, wraps him tightly in blankets, and Akash finally passes out. Now, in the daylight, it's pretty easy to dismiss the horrors of the night as fever dreams caused by a nasty stomach bug. But as the morning sun hits Akash's face, he is about to realize that the nightmare hasn't ended. In fact, it has permanently etched itself into his physical world.
Akash opens his eyes and just freezes. His bedroom walls are completely covered in bloody footprints. Then, he hears it. This haunting, echoing sound of a woman crying coming straight from the bathroom. He slowly creeps up to the door, peers inside, and he sees her, the rotting woman from the wardrobe mirror. She's standing at the sink, literally crying tears of blood. Pure, unfiltered terror takes over, and Akash just sprints straight out of the flat.
He runs down and drags the building's security guard back upstairs. But the flat is completely normal. There's no blood. There's no woman. But then, the guard looks at Akash, and his face goes completely pale. He tells Akash that before they moved in, that flat was kept empty for years. Why? Because the rotting corpse of a girl was discovered in that exact same bathroom. Trembling, Akash asks for her name. The guard replies, Priya. And the society's security logs? They show absolutely 0 visitors entered the building last night.
That realization hits Akash like an absolute freight train. If Priya has been dead for years, what on earth was in his room stroking his hair? Suddenly, his phone starts ringing incessantly. It's Priya. In a total blind panic, he deletes the dating app. He powers down the phone completely. He grabs a bag and frantically starts throwing clothes into it. He knows he needs to escape this cursed flat right this second. He swings the front door open to make his escape, but she is standing right there, Priya. As her anger boils over, her beautiful face literally melts and twists, reverting right back into that horrifying, decaying corpse. She grabs Akash by the throat, lifting him completely off the ground into midair, screaming at him, "This time I won't let you go anywhere." He is choking, his vision is fading, and he's entirely at the mercy of a dead woman.
But just as Akash's vision goes completely black, a miracle happens. The flat door swings wider, and his roommate Rohan unexpectedly returns. The instant that demonic entity locks eyes with Rohan, it just vanishes into thin air, dropping Akash straight to the floor. Gasping for breath, Akash barely manages to explain the absolute madness that just happened, and the two of them abandon the flat forever, right then and there.
Okay, so months pass. Akash and Rohan have moved to a brand new flat in a totally different part of the city. And honestly, everything seems perfectly normal. The trauma of that night begins to fade away, and the ghost of Priya seems like nothing more than a bad nightmare left behind in that old, cursed bathroom. But, as we know, that's a classic false sense of security. It's 11 p.m. Akash is home alone, just working late on his laptop. At 11:05, his old phone, the exact one he had completely powered down months ago, suddenly turns on all by itself. A minute later, the screen lights up with a push notification. It's the dating app he deleted, and the notification simply reads, "It's a match."
With trembling hands, Akash slowly picks up the phone. But it's not the app that's open. It's his front-facing camera. And looking back at him, right through the screen, standing directly behind his chair in this brand new flat, is Priya. So, take a look at your own screen right now. Seriously, check your front camera. Is someone behind you?